What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin, and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
And are you ready, you guys, for a year in review? A year in Carlin, if you will.
If we may. If you may. I'm excited about this. So the premise for today's episode is to do, because like we've reached the end of 2024, which, I mean, tell me if this has been your experience. It has gone so fast.
So fast.
Like, I feel like, it's not uncommon to say that at the end of years, but like, I mean, my big thing that I think about is each month I take a new manila folder out of my stack and using my one big Sharpie that I use for one purpose and one purpose only, I create that month's folder that I store all of the business receipts in.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, it literally felt like I just pulled them out like one after the other and was just like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, November, December. It's like I'm just done. Like I already did it. I'm like I feel like I just like blasted right on through it.
Right, like you only pick up that marker 12 times a year, and it just like you picked it up really fast.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's like I feel like I got very acquainted with that marker this year because I feel like I was spending so much time with it. But surely I wasn't spending any more time with it than I usually am.
I absolutely had that experience with things this year where I was as we were preparing for this episode, I was just kind of like flipping through my photos on my phone.
Yeah.
Sort of as like a refresher, like what happened during each specific month, and there would be things that I would be like, that was this year?
I know.
Like,
yes. Yeah, no, yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and it was such a busy year too that I feel like there were lots of things I forgot happened completely, but then even like reliving the memories, I was like, man, this is really joyous. Like your camera roll is such a useful like reminder. I think like if you're even having like a down day, it's like because you're taking pictures, I think during like how often are you like in a fight with someone and you're like, hold on, let me pull my camera out because I'm gonna want to remember this.
Yeah.
It's like never.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
What was interesting to me was some things that would be like recurring on my camera roll that I wouldn't have thought like take up that much of my time or that like I think about like that much or something like the Pluto pins.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. It's like something that's like, for the most part, you'd think it's like, yeah, when you go to Disney, you get them. And then the rest of the time, they're just like on display. And that's pretty much it.
Sure.
But like, no, that's not it, clearly.
Like, it's been infused because that's the type of thing where it's like, is this like, that you really like it, but it might be the type of thing where it's like, do I even realize how much I'm loving it? Like I think it's
right.
An Andy quote from The Office. Like, why don't they tell you that you're living in the good old days when they're happening?
Exactly.
And so it's like, you are.
I know. Well, I was like looking. There was a picture in January of my of my pin board at the time, and it was the first one I got, like the tiny Mickey Mouse head.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, that was January? Because since then it's gone to big Mickey head, to full Mickey body, to now Pluto artboard. Like I've upgraded like
4 times?
4 times like this year,
That is,
I was like, that can't be, right? Can that be? But apparently.
I guess we had, we'll go through it. We'll go through it. So what Jay and I have both done for today's episode, I don't know exactly what your strategy was, but we wrote down each month of the year.
Yeah.
We explored our camera roll and we tried to find like the highlights. So I kind of went like high-low, with my experiences.
Oh, I didn't do like lows.
You didn't do lows?
No.
Okay. Because I feel like I had a rather tumultuous year at times.
Okay.
Like it's interesting because like, we did like when I know about 2024, like when I tried to decide to myself, like, was it a good year or a bad year? It's like, I don't know that I've ever had a year that was like so horrendously split through the middle. And because like there were such good things that happened and such bad things that happened.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting to explore.
Okay.
Yeah. So
right. Well, we'll get into it all.
Yeah, we'll get into it all. So kicking off with January of 2024, the big highlights for me were that I was doing my
Your sour dead?
my sour bread dough phase, which sadly I have to admit eventually ran its course.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun, especially through the colder months as like a nice warm, like inside activity. You know, you're making bread, and like homemade bread is very delicious. And,
It sure is.
and all that type of stuff. Yeah. And I remember thinking like, oh man, this is going to be like a part of like who I am. Like I'm like a bread guy now. Like this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then I think at some point, you know, like the daily feedings maybe caught up with me a little bit, and it was like, okay, I don't know. Look, now, like, I think there's an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Boyle, who can sometimes do things that like seem a little uncouth or strange, has like his family sourdough starter that's been like in the Boyle family for like generations or something like that. And it feels like your classic, just like laughable, haha, that's so funny, like thing that of course his family would be into is sourdough starter or whatever. Then you're like, dude, if that thing had lasted generations, even like one person's lifetime, a decade, 3 years, like any of those amounts of time, it's like, that is so impressive.
It's like someone has really been keeping up with it the entire time.
Yes. And it's not like it's a huge chore, you know, it's like a small amount of work every day, which so many things are like this.
Yeah.
Bookkeeping, not the least of which, you know, it's like you can get to the end of every week, spend 5-10 minutes doing it, but if you don't, then at the end of the year it's like 520 minutes of work.
Right. Yeah. That's a tremendous problem.
Yeah. So it adds up.
It's like watering your plants, you know?
Right.
You just like do it on the regular and they're gonna be fine. It's just like if you don't, that's pretty much the difference.
Right. Yep. So I think there's something really nice though about the kind of work. It's like a giant paintball, you know, like a giant ball of paint.
Yeah.
Like you can't make it all at once.
No.
It's just layer by layer by layer.
Yeah.
One after the other, but then the finished product is extraordinary.
Yeah,
because it's like so much time and energy went into this project.
It's crazy because too, like with sourdough, by like even you could probably buy the same like starter. You know, like if you and I both bought like a starter from the same person, like clearly like 10 years from now, those are going to be very different tasting breads.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, because like I mean, the environment would be so different just by the nature of being in two different houses.
Yeah, right. Maybe mine went through like a 3-month period. Where I was like, I'm trying a different flour for a while.
Right.
You know, something like that. And then I was like, I switched back. Who knows? I
know, it's a good point. And then my low for the month of January, it's not really that big of a low, but my Fitbit that I had been wearing for like literally years for all the step competitions and everything, it just died.
Yeah.
It like,
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so I got this watch that I now wear every single day, my Garmin watch, and I really like it.
I'm kind of surprised your high wasn't the cruise.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the cruise.
Okay.
So for what it's worth, it is written down.
Okay. I was like, am I wrong? Was that in February? I'm pretty sure I had pictures of January from the cruise. So yeah, I mean, that was probably the big thing that happened that particular month is that we went on our my first ever cruise, and it was a Disney cruise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what is now that you're like 11 months removed from that experience? Like, do you feel like you'd want to do it again? Do you feel like it's like a every 5 years kind of thing? Like any kind of like pulse on that?
I mean, when we left, I was like it was a fun trip, no doubt. Like when I look back, it was fun. Like I had a good time. And I remember though when I left, I was like, I think it would be better if the kids were older.
Yeah.
Like it was just a lot. However, I still think that's true. I think like if you were at a stage where you could be like, all right, kids, see you at lunch, you know, and then just like everyone break, that would probably be the ideal situation because then everyone can have fun. You're not constantly being stressed out. If they need to get in touch with you, they can. But for the most part, they're just making their own fun, and yay.
Right.
I think that's probably like the best situation. But I do think even if we went back, everyone would have so much more like experience and expectations that I think that would curb a lot of the like stressors from the situation.
Right, I would agree with you because I do think that there's a I mean, and it kind of reminds me of like the first trip to Disney that I took with Alice when we went, you know, like after we've been dating just for a couple of years. And I remember being like kind of overwhelmed by the experience, but then when we went back again, it was like, okay, like now I remember that place where I like to get food and like this is my favorite ride, and like, you know, it was kind of like, okay, now I got like all my touch points. Exactly. I kind of know what I'm doing. And then the other thing I would say about the cruise was like cruises to me feel like a very like, and not even feel like, I just think it's easy to say they are a very commercialized form of vacation.
Yeah.
Like everything's kind of thought out for you. Like all the food is there, all the drinks are there, all the entertainment's there. Like it is designed to make life as easy as possible for you. I didn't think it was going to feel as much like an adventure as it did. Like,
okay,
even like sleeping on the boat at night and feeling like the rocking nature and kind of having some of that like back of your mind. And maybe it was just because it was the first one.
Yeah, could be.
That back of your mind, like worry, anxiety about like, being out at sea, or like the nerves about like seasickness, or like I kind of thought that like maybe it would just feel like sleeping like in a hotel bed and you wouldn't really notice the water.
I know. Part of me like before we went on the cruise was sort of like what is the point of it being on a boat? Like what advantages is that versus just this being like a hotel?
Right,
you know?
Yeah, just going to like an all-inclusive resort somewhere.
Exactly,
on
right.
land. Yeah.
I guess like the answer is that you can get off at the different ports and visit those places.
Right.
Yeah. But we only really stopped at one place on our particular cruise.
Right.
Yeah. And I think even ahead of time we almost didn't even plan on getting off. Like we ultimately did, and we had fun. But that was still like a lot of work, and it was sort of like, well, we'll just when everyone else is off, then the cruise ship will be empty. We'll be able to like really do stuff or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is an evolution, I think, that we are still yet to fully be able to like experience with the kids getting older and older. Where I think that like we will look back on this period of time and be like, oh yeah, I remember when vacations were like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because that is definitely, that's like where we are, for future us, if in case you guys are listening to you talking right now.
Yeah.
That's where things still stand.
I know. Like, I feel like, when I look back, like when I remember the vacations from when we were a kid, it's like, I don't remember it feeling like work. Like for mom and dad, but maybe it always was.
Maybe it always was. And I usually think about like when we went to the beach, and I feel like mom and the other Vicky, who would travel with us.
Yeah.
They would make dinner for the kids, and we would all eat, and then they would have like surf and turf, and like a big spread themselves. So like it does occur to me that they were making dinner twice every night,
right?
Which might have
been more like planning and stuff on their part.
Yeah.
But it was like difficult. Like they were like taking care of us, but they weren't like, monitoring us.
That's true. But maybe we just don't remember that. Those years.
Yeah.
They get buried way deep in the.
Yeah. You had a closer eye on you than you realized or something. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So
don't know. But I did, when I was looking through the pictures, I also remembered on that trip we stopped at Disney World. For a day to just do the parks.
Yes.
If you'll recall. And I don't know, where was it? Like 1 or 2 days? I don't even know. But I was just looking through, and I remembered, or I was reminded through the pictures of like on one of those nights, like I had found like this sweatshirt that I really liked at Disney Springs. It was like a Baymax sweatshirt.
Yes.
And I couldn't.
The hunt for it.
Yeah. And there was a hunt for it. And I was like, we went to like some parks and I could not find it, and someone, like one of the people at the store was like, they might have it at Epcot at like the whatever this store, and I was like, okay. And then we put the kids down for bed one night, and I was like, I think we had like a park hopper pass, and I was like, Beth, do you want, like, should we go out and try and look for the sweatshirt or whatever? And she was like, I'm not going to, but you can go if you want. And I was like, well, okay. So I had like this like lonesome adventure into the park where I went to the big gift shop at Epcot like by myself, and they didn't have it there. And then I was just sort of like, but because I was there by myself, I realized that like in each country in Epcot, they have like a different pin. There's like a store that'll have a pin board.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm already here. I may as well just like walk around and see if I can't find any like pins to trade for. While I'm here by myself without any distractions or anything. That'll be my mission. So I won't have just come here to look at one store and then leave.
Right.
Yeah. And so I did the lap. There was not a single pin I found on that particular trip.
You did a lap around the whole World Showcase and didn't find anything?
No.
Goodness.
I know. A lot of the pin they had, this is something they have changed since then. They've like really amped up the pin game. At least like you can trade with the cast members now. And I think whenever I see the boards, like people posting online, they seem a little bit fuller than I remember them being.
Maybe you've like caused a stir.
I would like to think that I'm a part of it. Who knows? I doubt it, but I hope.
Yeah. It's like this is like the classic where it's like maybe you were just riding the wave that is everybody else getting into pin trading all at the same time, and it's like, hey, we finally got into this, and it's like, so did everyone.
Yeah. What do you know? But then I finished there, and I was like, you know what? This is a park hopper pass, and no one says I have to go home, and I didn't check Magic Kingdom, so maybe I'll look for the sweatshirt over there.
So you left Epcot.
I left
Magic
Epcot,
Kingdom.
took the monorail to Magic Kingdom by myself. Went and looked at the store there, still didn't find it. But then while I was there, I was like, I looked at like the ride times, and Buzz Lightyear had like a very low. It was like that time of day where everyone's starting to get ready to go to the fireworks, so they stopped being on the rides.
Oh, sure.
So I just jumped on Buzz Lightyear like 3 times until I got the Cosmic Hero or the Galactic, the perfect score.
The 999,000.
And then as we were leaving, I was like, you know what? When we were here earlier, we got a really great bucket of popcorn. I'm going to go get another one of those popcorns, like the custom thing.
Yeah.
So I just had like a whole adventure by myself, and I like totally forgot about all the details of it.
I love that. I love that. I mean, it's really funny.
fun.
There's a line I love from Name of the Wind that is something along the lines of like, you'll learn more about yourself by like walking to where nobody knows your name than like a decade at the university or something. And it's like the idea of going to, I mean, granted, it's not that foreign of a place. Like, your way around, like, Disney pretty well.
Disney World,
like,
but I'm like by myself.
Right. Like, so it's kind of like, it's interesting because then it's like you're doing things that are like your choices.
Right.
And it's like, it's funny how even in a world like a Disney World where everything is meant to be as convenient as possible for the most part, minus the fact that there's like 70,000 people all around you trying to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fun that you got to go and do a little bit of that.
Right. Like, what would you do if you're just by yourself?
It's like oddly soul searching.
It did. I kind of feel like that. I was kind of like the whole time I was like, I should probably just leave. I should probably just go back. And I was like, there's no reason. Everyone's asleep. There's nothing telling me I have to do anything.
Right.
It's like, but I probably shouldn't be doing this. I don't know.
But you kind of did.
But I did. And it was fun. It was fun.
Proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Fun. So that's January for you.
There you go. Good.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So now we're like 20 minutes in at January.
All right. Cool.
Buckle up for 240 minutes, people.
There we go. February.
Okay. So the two big things on my high side were skiing with you and our little brother Tyler.
Yep. This is when we went on the ski trip down to Wintergreen.
Yes, which was amazingly. And I don't know how this was not something that like we had ever realized before. It was the first ever trip that the three of us have taken, just us.
Yeah, just the three of us.
Which was like, it's like, how?
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It was like, that was it though. I guess we had like, prior to that, we'd had like a couple of like bachelor parties here and there.
Where the three of us would have been there.
The three of us would have been there.
But not like a trip that was just the three of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was cool and it was fun. It was like it was a weird weekend at Wintergreen where the temperature was not that low. And it was like raining, so I think or at least I was skiing in like a t-shirt for like most of the first day.
Yes,
which was kind of fun.
Yep, always good times. Always good times. Like, look at me, I'm so edgy.
Got that. Whoa, oh, awesome.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was that guy.
Way to go.
Thank you.
To go.
Thank you.
Yep. And then the other big one that I really loved from the month of February was we had Isabel, who edits the Popcorn Culture and SuperCarlinBrothers for us. She had joined the team in October of 2023.
Yes.
Trying to get all my years right here. And we had discovered that she was homeschooled and had never gone to prom before.
Oh, right.
And so for her 21st birthday, we did like a team prom.
Yes.
And like all of the significant others came out. We were like all dressed up and went to like a fun restaurant and we had drinks and it was just really cool.
Yeah, that was fun. That was pretty cool. That's one of those, it feels like that was this year.
I know.
Yeah. That is wild. I can't believe that one was this year. Yeah, other things I had written down. That would have, of course, been like when my birthday was, which I think for my birthday, we went to River Rock and took the kids climbing.
Nice.
Which was a fun time. I think it was like at least the twins' first time going there. And then we had that's when I had pictures of Luke eating mom's ribs for the first time, which is kind of funny because he like loved them so much.
That was very adorable.
I know.
That was very adorable.
He was all about it. And then I think that was most of it. Then like it was Nick and Nate's birthday as well. Also fun.
Well, so then my low, not to shift the mood a little bit here, but February was a tough month for sure. I guess like one of the things, like people know that this has happened in the past, and this year I guess I had chosen to not discuss it, but not for any really particular reason. But Alice and I got pregnant again.
Yeah.
And we were, super, super excited. Like, everything with Addie has been so amazing. And basically, like, for me, there's no doubt about it, like the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. And we kind of found out like very shortly after the cruise, and we were, super, super stoked about it. And I think, we had 2 miscarriages prior to Addie, and then because everything had gone so well with Addie, I feel like we were, like we felt really, really confident, and we were like excited to like, kind of like tell like our inner circle of people, everything that was going on. And then Alice started getting just like really, really sick, and she already has like a borderline phobia of like nausea and like being sick in general. And it just got really, really bad. It was like the hyperemesis gravidarum, which is, I mean, if you've never experienced it before, then you don't know what it is, and just better to leave it that way.
Yeah.
It was so miserable. I mean, like, we were trying so hard just to keep her hydrated, and, then you're like, well, what's even coming out of her? And, then you're at the point where like, if she could drink like a teaspoon of water, it was like, oh my gosh, like, you got a teaspoon down? Like, that's amazing. Like, and it's like, we needed like glasses, so like days are going by. And finally at one point in time, I just got really freaked out, and I ordered, like there's like one of those companies that will come and do like an IV in your house. And so like, I didn't even want to tell them like why we needed it. So I was just like lying to them, and I was just like, food poisoning, like,
right.
Like, my wife isn't feeling well. Can you come here and do it? And so they came, and like we went through that whole thing, and we were like that's it, like she just needs to be hydrated, like that'll be like what does it. And it wasn't, and I think her body was just too stressed out, and so it didn't work. And it was super, it's so difficult, like when I like look back on it, because like even this was like one of those things that I'm like scrolling through all my photos and everything, and I see like the tests that like I had taken pictures of, like where the line was really faint, and then it was not faint, and it was all of those sort of like all those moments, like that are supposed to be like joyous and exciting. And it was amazing how like my brain had sort of like blocked them completely.
Yeah.
From myself, where it's just like crap, like it's like I can see us so happy 2 weeks prior doing all these fun things, and I know how the rest of the year unfolds, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this just went not well. So anyway, that was like one of the big markers of February for us, was attempting to get through that, and then really like dealing with like the emotional fallout that sort of comes with those types of things, while also trying to continue to live your life a little bit, which is super challenging. But in case it if nobody had put the pieces together, that would then bring me to March, where I bought a boat.
Yeah. Where you bought a boat.
Where I bought a boat. I can't say that those two things were not at least
a little related.
A little bit related.
Yeah.
I think that was a piece of me being like, okay, I want to do this, like for the lift, for the I don't even know. Like, it's like, you're putting a Band-Aid on something.
Right.
But still.
Right. I mean, you need Band-Aids.
You need Band-Aids.
You don't want open wounds.
I know. So, but the good news is that like, as much as possible impulse buy was involved a little bit there, it did end up being a
good decision overall.
Something that I feel like will continue to come up throughout the rest of the year. Sorry for the downer.
Oh, that's all right, man. I mean, you're just being honest over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So March, how was March for you?
I mean, March was pretty good. I think that was when we got like honored by the state of Virginia.
Yes.
Yep. Which I can never remember the exact phrasing of what
We received from the state of Virginia. We got to go to like Richmond
Yep.
to like the House of Representatives for the state and be like formally recognized, which was really cool.
Yep.
And like the representative, like from the city was the one who like stood up, and we were there like in our suits and stuff, and got this whole thing, and like all these elected officials like turned and clapped for you, which was
And
really
you're like, what?
really
Yeah.
cool. And like then there's the ability to go and talk with like Sam Razul was the
Yep.
gentleman who he came out and he talked with us, and it was really like special in a way that I didn't know. And basically what it is, in case you're unaware, is the state just will occasionally do this, like if your high school football team wins state, the state itself is just recognizing your good achievement, and so it's really just recognition.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Like when you're self-employed, there is sometimes that like you don't have a manager, the boss,
Right.
who can say like, hey, you're doing good work.
Good job. Yeah.
So it was really cool to be able to get that acknowledgement and
It
kind of be
was.
like, oh, nice.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was like it was a very fun trip. I didn't really know what to expect, and it was just like, oh my god, this is so nice. Like it was like I felt very proud of ourselves.
Yes.
That day, which was really cool. And then the other thing that happened in March that I couldn't believe was this year is when we went to see the Celtics play the Wizards.
I wrote the same thing
I know.
down,
I was like,
yeah.
that was this year.
Yes.
like that's crazy.
Because now, like, it's like to now, I feel like you seem so like adjoined with the Celtics.
I know. I'm
And-
like, has it been less than a year?
right?
Yeah.
Like even when we went, to Boston on tour, like at the beginning or end of May, beginning of June.
Yeah.
Like I remember like the idea of going to what is their like Coliseum?
Oh, the Garden.
The Garden, yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of like going there was like, well, of course we got to go there for Jay, like,
Yeah,
you
like,
guys
of
see like
course,
where the
of course.
Celtics play and stuff. And
I know. I got like when I got the hoodie there, and I think I've worn that hoodie more than any other article of clothing this year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
It
amazing.
is definitely like my lounge around. When I go home, I just put on my comfy clothes.
Dude,
Article of clothing.
wouldn't it be so fun? Like, how like at the end of the year, like Instagram will be like, here's your top 8 photos or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Spotify does like the unwrap.
Yeah.
It's like, here's your most listened to. Wouldn't it be so cool if your closet was like, this was your most worn piece of clothing?
Oh, that'd
this
be so
year?
fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
You reached for it 47 times.
Smart closet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
would
would
be
be
so
very
fun.
funny. Yeah, so that was a really cool game because that was another trip with me and you and Ty, and then Dad came as well. And weirdly, unexpectedly, life changing feels like the wrong word, but like not either. I mean, I've like watched so much basketball since that day.
I know. No, I mean, it's like you got to like find. I think that's life changing. I mean, it's like anybody
Yeah.
who like discovers like a new hobby. It's like
Yeah.
other than our careers. Like we've talked about that before. Like when you go to a party, like playing the game of how far can you get with a conversation with somebody without telling them what you do.
Right.
Like because the idea is like like at the very least, just for the sake of it, like what else defines you. And I feel like so often it's like if it's not your career, then the next thing up is probably family and hobbies,
Right.
because you're starting to kind of paint the picture of like what brings you joy in life.
Yeah, and after that, you're starting into getting into like deeper like integrity and morals and ethics and faith and stuff.
Yeah. It's like that's more like
that's a little bit not surface level conversation things all the time.
that's like 10th date.
Yeah. Right.
We'll get there one time.
Yeah.
No. So I totally agree. That was a big one for you. That was a big one for you. So,
Yes, it was.
scooting forward into April.
Yeah.
Technically, I believe this happened in March. I believe it was March 31st of this year. But we did host Easter
Yes,
at our
I had
house.
Easter at Ben's.
Yeah, which I thought was just a very positive, uplifting experience.
It was very fun. I remembered Nate was running around wearing these swimming goggles
Yes.
the whole day.
Yes.
super funny.
Had he gotten those like in his Easter basket?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd gotten the goggles with the Easter basket and was just wearing them like no time like the present. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And I feel like we had like a good day, and like the yard was in bloom, and things were just really like beautiful, and it was just like good to be spending time around everybody. Because I think even at this point, like I can like remember looking at some of the photos of things that were also going on in the zip code, and like remembering like. I know that like I went axe throwing, around here, and it was like I should be happier, but I do remember Easter like stood out to me as like this was a really good day, with my people,
like a day of like rebirth almost.
Almost. I don't know if I was quite there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Oh man. Other fun things from April. This honestly stood out to me is that's when we made the our Bluey video for the year. I don't know if you remember that one.
The Bluey video. That happened in April.
That happened in April.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it feels like a long time ago now. But like that stood out. That was like I remember just having a lot of fun making that one in particular. Like we put a lot of extra effort into it.
We did, yeah. There was the like the whole process of like creating like the intro, like the Bluey intro, where you just like jump in the air and like do all the dancing.
Yeah,
and that was really fun. Ethan, the editor, did like a bang up job. Like he had gone home and like composed the music so that we could like play the Bluey music, but he like had done it himself, so that like we weren't like flagged.
It wasn't like copyright or something.
Yeah. So that was amazingly awesome to see it come together, and then of course I think that particular episode for you was deeply emotional as well.
I think so. Yeah, it was like a really the episode, the video was about the episode The Sign, which was a very emotional episode of TV, like probably one of the best episodes I've ever seen of anything. And so it was just fun making a whole video about it and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that one, is it not the case that the family is selling their home?
The family, the episode is about the family selling their home, and they're like about to move, but then they don't.
Okay.
At the end, because they decide like they're just happier where they are, and like more money's not going to make a difference and stuff like that.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. That one, I mean, it's like I know I'm like armchair therapist thing you, but like I can't help but notice that like probably the biggest and most emotionally impactful situation that happened in our childhood was moving.
I know. I am not unaware of that.
Yeah.
I know. We did have a very a move when I was in like 8th grade that was tremendously emotionally impactful on me, and I was very upset about it for like about like a full year or so. And like I look back on it now, like I do remember it being a very hard year. It was probably like the worst year of school of my life. And then of course I look back on it now and I'm like so happy we did move. And
I mean, you met Beth.
Like I met all of my best friends and met my wife and all of that. So it was ultimately a very good thing, but it's, for 13-year-old me, I could not see any silver linings at all.
I know. I know. Yeah, you were. I was in like the transitional stage of going from elementary school to middle school. So my life was about to change abruptly, no matter what.
Right.
No matter which school I went to. But you were like a bit more like in the middle ground of going through your middle school, high school career.
Yeah, a little bit. I was a little more established within my own year and my group of friends of stuff and but oh well.
There was no other way to say it. He was cool.
No, I don't know about that.
I
don't know about that.
The talk of the town.
The talk of the town. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, that was a good one. Oh, and then Beth also ran the Blue Ridge Half Marathon in April.
Hey, really which I'm signed up for next year.
Booyah.
I think April 12th, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Should be fun stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Okay, so but that'll be for 2025's recap. We don't want to talk about that now.
No.
Okay, so the month of May, I had this one written down because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. But Jay bought a painting for $40.
I also wrote that down. I bought a painting at a silent auction for $40, and everyone loved it.
Jay was on fire this particular auction night.
Yeah,
which I think we get it from our mom because I feel like she has always been like the queen of silent auctions.
Yeah.
Like growing up, it was kind of like every time we like went out to like a fun dinner or something like that, it almost always seemed like mom was like, got a gift card.
Got a gift card.
Like what she would almost always do is if like, because both of our parents were always heavily involved with just so many different like nonprofits and stuff that they hold these events, and then a lot of times to raise money at those events they'll have donations from local vendors, and then those things end up being gift cards that then mom is like, well, I'll buy the gift card and I'm supporting the charity, and then at some point in time we'll use that money to go to dinner, and it's kind of like a twofer. So she's always been so big into it. Now that we are adults, and especially this particular nonprofit is the one that our mom works for,
at,
the local SPCA. So like for us, it was like, okay, we want to go, we want to support mom. It's in our DNA, and look how cool this painting is for $40.
Look how cool this painting is for $40. It's still hanging in my bedroom.
You were on like the live auction, which is done by our dad.
Yeah.
You were also like the one raising the paddle.
I was doing it, man. I was in the zone.
You were trying to win that. I think the other thing I remember you going for was the flight in like the World War II plane over Smith Mountain Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think at first it was going for like $300 or something, and I was like, I can't believe no one's bidding on this for three. Yes, clearly,
right.
I'll do this, and then I think eventually it got up to like over 1,000 or something. But like no one was willing to be the first person, and I was like, hey, I'll take it for cheap,
Dude, I swear to you, at that point in time, I think me and Alice were watching the TV show. I can never remember the exact name of it, but it's about World War II bombers on Apple Plus called like Masters of the Sky or Masters of the Air, something like that. And dude, I don't know if I've previously thought about like past lives, but I'm fairly certain that I've lived on one of those bombers, because like when I was watching the show, I was like, I feel like I was having like flashbacks to things that have not happened to me.
Weird.
I know. So when that one popped up, I was like, no, thank you.
Meanwhile, I'm like, let's go.
Let's go.
Come on, Ben, we'll make a video.
I know. Yeah. It's like,
maybe not.
I mean, I would have done it. I would have done it if you had won it. But like I would have been nervous.
Yeah. We did end up winning like a trip to a cabin in Asheville.
I know, that's true. Yeah,
that was fun.
That's for 2025.
Yeah,
though. We still haven't done it.
I think what was maybe my favorite moment of that night was because I don't know what happenstance or how the seating was arranged, but we were sitting at the table with David Page,
who's like the local radio DJ.
Yeah, who has been the DJ on Q99, the 80s, 90s, and today. Yes, we're just skipping. Today is covering a lot of ground at this point.
Yeah, 80s, 90s, and then 24 more years.
24 more years. Like, okay. But it's been Dick Daniels and David Page, the host of the Breakfast Club on Q99, since I was in like kindergarten.
We literally, yes. I mean, we've listened to it our whole lives. And I would even say that move that we made, like when you were in 8th grade, like we would get in the car in the morning because we hadn't quite moved to mom and dad's current house yet. And we would drive like 45 minutes from our old house to our new schools, and we would like listen to them the whole drive.
We would listen to them the whole time. I mean, mom listened to Q99 all the time. And then I remember when I got hired at the Civic Center, then I had to work with all the radio stations, and so I, had a little bit more. It was like one of those like, you're meeting all the DJs you've listened to your whole life, and like, this is kind of cool, or whatever. So like, I was like on a first name basis with him or anything, but then he was sitting at our table, and I remember. I feel like by the end of the night, we just had him like cracking up, and it was just like you've provided us with a ton of entertainment throughout the years, and now I'm making you laugh, and that's like really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like this is kind of special in a way that like I don't really want to like ruin the moment by telling
right,
you,
yeah.
but it is.
But it's like kind of cool. It's like it's cool that you think I'm entertaining.
What a win!
What a win! I know. I know.
So you got that the painting
and the box of wine, Ben,
and the box of
wine. I was cleaning up with that. You know what it is? Is that the silent auctions are kind of like you can like really gamify them in a way. Like you make your first pass on things, and it's like here's the things I want to bid on. A little bit here and there or whatever, and then it's like there's things like okay, once you have your first few bids out, it's like okay, I don't want to be like too invested in everything, but as soon as like you're like, well, I would have gone in for $40 on that particular item, and that would have been a more covetable item. But now that it's gone, I wouldn't have spent more than $40 on it, but I already committed that $40, so now I can move it over here.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? I didn't want this as much, but weirdly, I'm willing to spend more on it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, as long as you're keeping track of it really close and you're getting the text notifications, you're like, that one's done, forget it. It's gone. It's lost to somebody else, but that means we're more secure over here.
Yeah, I don't want to toot our own horn or anything, but the other thing I think is that, like, you know, there are items that like end up not having bids.
Yeah.
And I feel like they will continue to not have bids because people think like, well, nobody else has bid on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we go in there and we're like, yeah, why not? Minimum bid, minimum bid, minimum bid, minimum bid. And then what ends up happening is I feel like we end up lifting the tide.
Yeah.
Because we're so enthusiastic.
Exactly.
About it,
It's
yeah.
good to have us at an auction.
Exactly.
You know?
So if you're having an event, just, you know, shoot us an invite.
Invite us. Yeah, we want to come.
We'll have fun.
We're gonna have fun. There's no doubt. Also, if we're talking about the month of May, we have to talk about Make Jay Grow a Mustache in May.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. This was. I mean, you were this era of your life.
Which, Ben, by the way, that title, Make Jay Grow a Mustache in May, is named after a radio promotion called A Trip a Day in the Month of May, done by Q99.
I had
The Breakfast Club with Dick Daniels and David Page.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
How truly spectacular.
Right?
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
The mustache, I think, has changed you.
I mean, that's what people keep telling me.
Like in a good way.
For the better?
For the better.
For the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've come out of your shell more this year.
Well, that's good to hear, because I felt like I was like, I don't know. I felt like I was out of my shell, you know, more than like growing up. But maybe the mustache has been another level.
Yeah. I think. I mean, maybe you just plateaued somewhere along the way, and like you've continued on your like up and up.
Yeah.
So I mean, is there any like feelings one way or another? Like, do you think this time next year you'll still have a mustache?
I can't say for certain.
You can, I know. I mean,
Yeah.
Mostly I just think it'll be interesting to come back and be like, oh, look at that. He was like,
That was when Jay had the mustache.
he said, yeah.
Yeah.
So say yes.
What? Oh, yes.
Yes. Amazing. All right, you heard it here first, people. Legally binding contract. that
Legally
Jay's just
binding.
Committed to.
There it is. I don't know. Like, it is like I still have the potential mustache competition on the brain, and part of it, like part of me is like I haven't 100% decided whether I want to do it or not, but like I feel like that would be a real breaking point. Like if I managed to like win a prize or something, that'd be so cool.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be so cool.
I mean, because that's the kind of thing where like if anybody was ever like, I don't know how to build a mustache, it's like, yeah, well, you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Incorrect.
So speaking a little bit of the mustache though, we legally left on tour the last day of May.
Legally. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
so, but I think it was really funny because that would take us into the month of June, realistically, where I feel like the mustache was so new. I think it was hilarious how when we were on our first tour, you were getting such different feedback based on the city we were in.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
Boston, not a fan of it.
Not a fan of the mustache.
New York City,
Loved
all
it.
in. No
Yes.
issues whatsoever.
Yep.
So that was really funny to like just like witness sort of unfold. But my hunch is the following. I think the Boston people, it was still just too new for them.
It was just too new.
It was just too new.
If we went back to Boston, and we should.
And we should. I think that they would be like, yes, you know what? I wasn't sure at first, but now I see it.
Now I see it.
That is what I think would happen.
I think you're right. But you're right. Yeah. So that was the end of May. I'll also just mention as an afterthought here that I started the garden in May for the year.
Oh yeah. Because
you
I mean,
know,
your garden has a pretty huge following.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I started it, and also the assault began on the garden.
Difficult times.
Difficult times were ahead. But you know, that's all right. It's all right. June, I would say, even though we left on the last day in May, was really all about tour.
It really was all about tour. Yeah. I mean, this was the stage of the year for me where like I would describe the summer of 2024 as the best summer of my life.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was so much fun. Like, and we kicked off with the tour. All 4 dates were completely sold out, which was just like, I mean, shout out to the entire SCB community for being there in such tremendous form, for being so great and wonderful, because it really made the experience just so incredible. Like, I can't even tell you, like, I think no matter what, like, no matter how far into like our content creating like career we had gotten, I think I've still always grappled with like the question of like, is this even what I want to do? Like, because I think no matter what, there was always that piece of me that was like, it's like there is, I think probably like the people pleasing, the anxiety, and then matched with such large numbers of people on the other end makes aspects of my personality like hard for me, because it's like I'm trying to I want to make all of them happy. Like I want to see and hear them, and I want them to know that I care how they feel.
Right.
But that's a lot of opinions.
Right.
There was something about tour that I think like fixed this for me.
Oh, that's good.
Both of the tours, because like I think we just got to go and see the people and like the reactions and like the ways in which, like I used to always tell people, like, from like a fulfillment standpoint, it's like, can you say you're making the world a better place, like one Harry Potter theory at a time or something? And like, like I want to make the world a better place. Like I want to be contributing to that. And I feel like that line always made so much sense to me. Like, like this, how important is this to people? And then when you went and you saw it, it was like, it is important to people.
Right.
Like, and in a way that like I was underestimating, just to my own detriment, like, because nobody realistically had ever made me feel that way before.
Right.
But it was just true. So, I mean, that tour was just so incredible. We had so much fun bonding with our team.
Yes, we did. Yep.
We went to a Red Sox game in Boston.
Yep. Got to go to Fenway Park.
Yep. We went to see a Broadway show in New York City.
Yep.
Hadestown, which I've listened to the soundtrack like 20 times.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Since then.
Yeah, that had like a real impact on you.
It did.
I
I
do it.
I really enjoyed that one.
We went to the Garden in Boston as well.
The Garden.
I'm
sorry. My mind went to Portland.
Oh yeah, no, the Rose Garden.
The Rose Garden. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So yes, we went to the Garden. You're right. Yeah. And what else did we do? Oh, the really funny thing. I think like one of the higher points of bonding with the team was after we saw Hadestown, we went to this like rooftop bar in New York City.
Oh yes, Star Child.
Yep, shout out. And it was just like I felt like the team was just firing on all cylinders. Like
it was a very fun night. Yeah, we did the mystery tequila shots, and like where they brought us 5 shots, and one of them was a jalapeno tequila, and the rest of them were just normal. And who was going to get the spicy one? And Kat was really worried it was going to be her, and we're like, the odds are so low. It's like it's like 20% chance that it's you, but of course she got it.
Of course she did. I swear she even told the waitress. She was like after we had ordered it, she like walked away and she was like, make sure it's not mine. And I think the waitress was like, it's going to be you.
It's going to be you.
Yeah, I know exactly how to handle this.
Mm-hmm.
So it was. I mean, that's a top 10 moment for me for sure.
That was hilarious
in the lifetime of SCB. So
that was really funny.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, there was so many fun things on that trip. We ran into the naked cowgirl on the naked grandma on Times Square.
On Times Square.
Yeah, that was funny. She just sort of like wandered up and started talking to us. That was really one of the most awkward 10 minutes of my life. But
I think 20 minutes.
I mean, it was a lengthy, like, I can't believe we're still talking to you.
Yes.
Situation.
Yep. But we did.
We went to the Harry Potter store in New York. That was really fun.
I'm actually wearing a shirt from that store.
You are. You're right.
Now.
Yeah.
Dude, that store, I was convinced there was no need for us to go. Like, we've been to Universal. Like, I've seen all of the merch. I feel like we own a ton of Harry Potter merch. I was like, we have to go because we're on a Harry Potter themed tour.
Right.
And we're in New York City and the store's right here. And it's like, of course we're going to go. All of us loved it.
All of us loved it.
I was like, they have such cool stuff here. Like it is very, very neat. So much like thought went into it. You could get a butter beer, which we did. Good times.
Yep. Very fun times. Very fun times.
Also, like at the tail end of June, and this will carry us over into July, we did our family lake trip.
Yes, we did, to the lap of luxury.
That's the name of the house our family
that's the
rents.
name of the house. I know it's a really gaudy name, and honestly, some of the decor in the house is fairly gaudy as well. But
it is spacious enough to house the entire family.
Yes, yeah.
Which is really the chief objective.
Yeah.
Chief objective.
Chief objective.
There we go. My words are failing me. I felt like this was one of the really great moments, though, because we had a fully operational boat.
Yes, we did.
And it was
for the first time ever.
For the first time ever. And it was like I didn't have to do any tinkering. It fired right up every single time.
Yep.
We had great weather.
Yeah, great weather. The only downside for this particular trip for me was that I had hurt my back just prior to going. If you'll recall.
Oh, I do. And so you couldn't water ski.
I couldn't water ski or lift heavy things and stuff.
I think that your very significant back injury that involved all the steroid shots and all the various things that you were doing, the PT, was a little overshadowed because I got a paper cut on my finger on that trip.
That's true, you did.
And everybody was really concerned for me. It was the funniest thing ever because it was how when you have a hangnail on your finger, just it almost has its own heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty much that, except it was very inflamed and I couldn't pick up Addy or even swimming hurt it. And I don't know really what happened, but the outpour of support that I felt like I got from everyone in the family was dude, how's your finger? And I'm like, it's good.
It's fine.
Oh man. But no, that was really, really good. It was fun. There was where we go, there's an ice cream shop directly across the lake from us. So we got to go and get ice cream a couple of times, to bring everybody over there with us.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That was very fun. And then also in June, me and Beth went to her cousin's wedding. Down in, I guess, South Carolina, I think.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes, Beaufort. Yeah, it was, the wedding was very nice, but I just really liked the place that we stayed in. It was it ended up being a really fun trip just in that regard. We went to some good restaurants, had some good food, and all around, that stood out as well. That was a fun trip. And then let's see, that brings us to July.
Yes, July. Yeah. Yes. Let's see here. What did we do in July? Oh,
we redid the set.
In
July. Yeah, we redid it. It felt like such a big deal. It's all we did, we moved the camera about 45 degrees to the left.
Yeah. I think it moved physically 4 feet.
Yeah.
But it makes a huge difference. That is one where now, if you haven't watched a recent Super Carlin Brothers video, you've got half brick wall and half the blue wall. We finally removed the black couch from the set that has famously been back there forever and ever and ever.
Yep, at the couchless set.
But those are the weird ones where it's it doesn't feel like this should be such a big decision, and yet we are terrified to do it.
I know.
It reminds me of when we changed the logo from the 8-bit Super Carlin Brothers head to the new very modern logo that we have. Yeah. It was we were what if this ruins the channel? What if people don't know, they don't recognize that icon in their subscription box, or what if something, I don't know, what if people are upset that we've changed it or something, and now it's so strange to think about our logo being anything other than what it is. But they're I don't know, they're big leaps of faith you're kind of taking.
Yep. But we did it, and it's one of those where I was as soon as we did it, I was mad at us for not having always done it. You know? It's not just a little better; it's so much better as to be laughable.
Yes.
That we didn't see it.
But once again, just to give some credit to the team, this is another one of those situations where I felt the team was very into it.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like everybody was coming together and we were all looking at the vision and kind of contributing, and it's just really neat to be able to do that with them.
Yeah. So we all built it together.
We did indeed.
So that was good.
Yep.
And then what else happened in July is that my son Nate got stitches twice
in 1 week.
Yeah. I was Nate, come on, man.
I know.
From 0 to 60.
Your boys are wrecking balls.
Oh, they truly are. All the time. They are just constantly getting banged up.
Yeah. I mean, they just go full speed, and they
do.
They don't know their own strength.
They have a zest for life.
A zest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So yeah, that's always something to Endure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he endured it like a champion both times when he's getting the stitches. I mean, he barely even acknowledged that, like a needle's being stuck in his head.
I know.
He was just like, whatever. I'm just like playing on my tablet, It's cool. It's fine.
Life is good. Jeez, Mom.
Life is good. Why is everyone freaking out? Yeah. I have this gaping wound in my head. Yeah. Not gaping. It was enough to need stitches, I guess.
He made it. He made
it. He's totally fine now. Totally good. You wouldn't even know he ever had him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other small thing I had was Alice and Addison left the house because they were going on a small little family reunion with Alice's side of the family, and I was going to be home for several days by myself, and I am like famously so bad alone.
Yeah.
But I went to town on like my basement, and I built all sorts of shelves, and I was super productive. And I think I got to the end of every day, and I was so pooped that I was just like, I'm just going to pass out now.
Yeah.
Awesome. I did it again.
Yeah.
And so it was actually kind of glorious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big step forward.
I know. It seems like it would be such a big ask to be like, why don't you just take the kids and go on a trip? Just you guys for like a week or something.
Right.
You're just like, but like, I promise you when you get home, it's going to be like, I don't even know what I'm going to do, but I'm sure I'll have done things.
It'll be better.
I'm not just going to like sit here, Yeah, it'll be better.
Yes.
It'll be better.
Dude,
it'll be better.
Number one thing about parenting, I think, is you start to realize how much you like I think this is why like our grandparents' garages have always been like so tidy. It's like they finally had the time to do it.
Yeah, they finally had time to clean it.
Yeah, and I feel like there's such a thing about like the enjoyment of getting to complete a task is so extraordinary, but like when you have all the free time in the world to do it, it doesn't feel that way.
Right.
So it's like the scarcity of the ability to just go and like complete something.
I know. You're like, can I finish this right now? Let me see. I did it. Yes.
I know. Yeah. Like I think me and Alice sometimes have to like flip a coin as to who gets to cook dinner.
Oh, wow.
Because it's almost like the idea of getting to be the one to like go into the kitchen and just sort of like do a job.
Right.
It's like, oh, this feels good.
Feels good. Just got a little me time, a little separation here.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. So then let's move on here. Are we inside of, during all this time I was going on the boat every single weekend.
Yeah.
If I was home, I don't think there was a single Sunday that I was home that I didn't go on the boat.
Nice.
So that was also contributing to my enjoyment of
overall
the summer.
Yes.
Because it also meant that I just got to see people every weekend. I got to go be in the sun. I got to play with my new toy. It was great.
Great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So the month of August.
Yeah. This was our cousin Rachel's wedding.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Which was just a truly delightful event.
It was. It was a very fun trip all around. Got to see all that side of the family who I feel like since we don't like always go up there for Christmas every year anymore.
Yeah.
It's much rarer to get like that whole side of the family in one place at one time, but this is one such event.
I know. Yes.
We got to do it.
So it was really fun. I danced some.
You danced some?
Yeah. Look at me go.
Wow.
I'm breaking out of my shell.
Look at you.
It's just like your mustache.
Have you tried growing a mustache? Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I technically have.
I guess you technically have a mustache.
If I just shave the rest of it off, will I be more confident?
Maybe.
We'll
only know if you do it.
If I do it. Okay. That's the. Let us know.
They're gonna say yes.
I know. Dang it! I shouldn't have said anything. The other big thing that I had happen in the month of August is Addison started her first day of preschool.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about other things that I feel like I'm just slowly starting to realize as you get older, like how much I underestimated events in our own lives that must have been a really big deal to mom and dad without ever being able to grasp it because I was doing something big. Like, I mean, I don't even know like what goes through anyone's mind, but like, running at states for cross country, for example, like I can only imagine how proud of Addison I would be now.
Oh yeah. If she did that,
but like, and surely mom and dad told me that they were proud of me for doing that.
Yeah.
But like now to imagine what that must have felt like, it's kind of like, oh, interesting. Like,
right.
It's like you're just like, you get the opportunity to see the world from like a whole new lens.
Yeah.
And there's no other way to do it than to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. So then
That
me and Alice dropped her off, and then we went to breakfast where we both cried.
Well, that's cool. I also had written down that Luke started first grade. So
okay.
Also very exciting. I mean,
Yes.
the twins also went back to preschool, but they'd been in preschool before. So, this is like first grade. It's like real school.
Real school, yeah. He has like homework and stuff.
Yes, I know. No, that's not my favorite thing.
I'm
I'll
sure
tell
not.
you what. Yeah. Even though it's really not that bad. Mostly it's just reading most of the time.
Okay.
Just like you just have to go do it. And the stories aren't that long or anything, but boy, some days they are that long. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
You know
I know
what I
what you're
mean?
saying.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like, I feel like I vaguely remember like by the time you get to like freshman, sophomore, junior year of high school, it's like you would go and you'd have like the huge literature book and they'd be like, yeah, go and read this story tonight for discussion tomorrow or whatever. And it's like 30 textbook pages long. And you're like, this is basically a novel.
Yeah, like what, are you kidding me right now?
You see how small the print is and there's barely any pictures.
Pictures, come on, man.
Yeah, what is this?
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Things to look forward to.
Things to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right, September.
Tour
Part 2.
Tour Part 2. Yeah, we went out to the West Coast.
Tour 2 Furious.
Yeah. Does that mean the one in February is Tour 3 Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, that's right.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is our favorite thing to do here in the office is apply the Fast and the Furious franchise naming convention to
Yes.
literally and just everything.
Any sequential thing.
Yes, any sequential thing. This one was also super great. I got to play Top Golf
Yes.
for the
you
first
did.
time ever, which
Yeah.
brought me just instant joy.
Have you done any golf related things since then?
I would say no, I haven't, but I do regularly, and you've seen me do this, like while I'm standing like out in like the bullpen area where we're all like chitter chattering and stuff as a team. I will like kind of air swing a golf club.
Right.
So I haven't forgotten about it.
Okay.
I want to do it.
You want to do it.
But like I think basically what happened was we got back from tour and then we were busy every single weekend until right now, and it's been cold.
It has been unbelievably busy
Yes.
every weekend since September.
Since September.
I have not really been able to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's essentially been nonstop. So I think once the weather starts to get warm in the early spring, I shall go and acquire some clubs.
Yeah. It feels like the sort of thing where it's like maybe we should plan it like months out almost,
Ooh.
Then it'd be like, yeah, I've been really busy in July. And it's like, yeah, because we plan golfing every weekend in July. So that's what we're doing. You know
what we could do is Saturday golf, Sunday boat.
Saturday golf, Sunday boat.
Who have we become?
There we go.
People that I didn't expect, but I'm also okay with.
Just regular mid-30s dudes.
We are generic people.
Wow.
We did it, guys.
Should we watch football too and drink beer?
We also do that.
I know.
I guess I even smoke meats. The thing I think I'm missing is reading World War II books.
That's a little bit older.
That's okay.
Yeah,
So I still got time.
That's like for your 50s, I think.
Okay, we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Right.
In the meantime, though, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese, what feels like every other weekend.
I know, right? Getting good at all the games.
Yeah.
Dude, I was zeroed in on the ball drop this past weekend.
I saw you over there.
I know.
I mean, I don't think anybody else played it the whole time you were there.
Well, that's right.
You had like an intimidation factor about it. It's like, well, that
don't
guy
even
means
judge me.
business.
He's doing it. I mean, you can figure out the timing. Like if I drop it now, maybe I can get like a hole in one on the drop.
Do you rock 1,300 tickets solo?
I got 1,300 tickets. Yeah.
Look at you go.
Yeah, look at me go. I was moving.
Wow.
I was going.
I was looking at the monthly passes.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's almost worth it to us.
At this point, we almost need it.
At what point do you start just like you don't even cash out at the end? You just start banking.
I don't know. That's a good question. That's
You
a good
know?
question. It's like it's more than I want the 60,000 point Squishmallow.
Yeah.
I just want to have achieved it.
I mean, I know.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like being a kid. There was the me as a child when we used to go to like the Moosey's arcade.
Yeah.
Like me as a child had no qualms with like banking the tickets for a future big prize.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Wow, big sneeze. Me as a child had no qualms with that idea. Like I wouldn't have had any problem being like, I will absolutely save my tickets to try and get something big. Maybe get that, TV with the built-in VCR, something like that.
Pretty amazing.
Had I had any sort of like confidence that we would be returning with regularity.
I know. Yeah.
That was the problem. It was like, well, I wouldn't mind saving the tickets if I thought we'd be here more than twice a year.
Right.
You know, but like, hey, if we have like season passes at the Chuck, you know, like at some point it's just like, it's not that I couldn't just go to Kroger and buy the Squishmallow. It's that I saved the tickets and successfully saved up for it.
I earned it.
It means more.
In the meantime, I also had fun.
In the meantime, yes, I also had fun.
The real Squishmallow was the ball drops we did along the way.
Exactly, Ben, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
There was such satisfaction if you could successfully swish it into the 20 slot.
Oh.
Like, oh my gosh. I did it back to back a couple of times and I was like, is anyone watching? That was insane.
Should we just get one of these machines for the office?
That'd be the worst machine to get.
It
is so pointless if there's not tickets on the line.
It is just a spinning wheel and a rubber ball.
It is just a spinning wheel and a bouncy ball. But, you know, for the sake of earning tickets, very fun.
Yeah, there you go.
It feels skill-based.
Okay, so let's see here. So I want to mention, because there were two other things we did in the month of September, which was we got to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
Realistically, I mean, we've been before. I would say it was our first like proper trip.
Yeah.
To Disneyland, which was kind of amazing. It was really, really just fun to be out there. I know you collected a bunch more Pluto pins.
I sure did. Yeah, not to keep bringing it back to Pluto pins, but as you can see, it was more of a running theme than you might imagine.
It really was one of the themes of your year.
Exactly.
Arguably.
Exactly.
And we also got to go to Mythical, which was sort of a unique experience.
Yeah, I mean, West Coast all around good. We went Seahawks, Space Needle, Rose Garden, Train Museum, Old Sac, Fun Tiki Bar, Golden Gate Bridge, all these places.
Mythical and Disneyland.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. Like it's so cool that like your work is also so entertaining, and it allows you to see so much of like the country.
Yeah.
Because that's like another weird one too about living in the United States is like anybody from, and I mean, I'm sure this happens to plenty of people who haven't seen like all of their country, but like the states are so physically large.
Yeah. They're super far apart.
Yes. Yeah. And there's just so much to see inside of each of them, whether it's like the geography, the like the plant life, you know, or the forms of entertainment and landmarks and stuff like that. So it's been great that we've been able to go out and do it. Like I'm like thrilled that we're doing more of these because it means we get to continue to go see more people and see more stuff.
Cities. Stuff. Yeah, I know. Like I always remember, like sometimes I would remember like being a kid talking to adults and they'd be like, oh yeah, I used to fly here and there and I've been to there on business or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I remember remembering that at some point as an adult being like, you know, like, I guess like, you know, I haven't really traveled the country, you know, at all. And it's like, suddenly it's like, oh, now I can tell my own nieces and nephews about like, yeah, we used to fly there for business, or we were hopping all over the place.
I know. Yeah. We were there, and you know, back in 2024, we saw that Space Needle.
Yeah. Well, we were touring, you know, back with the pod. You know?
All piled into a van.
All piled into the van, you know, living on Twizzlers and M&Ms.
We were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. Okay. Month of October. This is a familiar topic for pop listeners. The Beer Mile.
I'm glad you wrote it down. I know. We talked about it so much.
I think the Beer Mile to me, more than doing the event itself, is such a prime example of giving you and your friends something to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know what every other person's relationship with their friend group typically is. Like the GMA chat, I think will ebb and flow at times, like where we will talk very frequently about like random stuff. But there's no doubt about it. When we have something on the horizon, it's when that chat goes off.
Yeah.
And we have like a lot to say. Because we're not usually updating each other like, oh my gosh, let me tell you what just happened at the DMV this morning. Like, you know, just sort of like shooting the general stuff.
No, not so much.
Yeah, that's not really the kind of dynamic that we have inside of our friend group. But it was so much fun. Like we were going to the track. We were practicing chugging. We have like paper towels in the kitchen of our office taped to the wall where we used Sharpie to write down all of the various, like, you know, SEB staff chug times just on water.
Right.
Out of like red Solo cups that we on day one wrote all of our names on our respective cups, used them the whole time.
Still have them.
Yep.
Yep.
The most used Solo cups ever.
Yep.
So it's just been it was really a delight.
It was really fun. I loved getting the matching outfits for the event as well. Like we had, hats and sunglasses and shirts and, ultimately we did not win. We came in second. But it was the whole thing from like just the yes, let's do it to the event itself was just a blast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It was really good. And that was you. You pioneered this.
Well,
Yeah.
You know how I do. I get really into things.
A bringer of people together.
Exactly.
Yeah. I actually could say. I mean, you did quite do that this year.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We also had Addison's birthday.
Yes, we did.
In the month of October, which I think was a lot of fun. It was sort of like a little bit of like costume action going on.
Yes.
Addie was so excited for all of like September and October to be a spooky ghost. Which
spooky ghost
did not change the whole time.
Consistent.
All of us went out on trick-or-treating on Halloween as spooky ghosts together. I loved it.
Very good. We went as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, and April O'Neil,
O'Neil.
Everyone knows about.
Now they do.
Now they do.
Now they'll never forget.
Now they'll never forget. I wonder, like, what our impact on the overall April O'Neil knowledge of the country has been.
It would be really interesting to go like on Google Trends and see if there's even like the
tiniest of spikes,
the mildest of spikes.
April O'Neil, boom, right there.
I suspect Megan Fox has done the most for the character.
Well, yes, probably.
Yeah.
Also, who is the girl who plays in The Bear? Oh, and she's Envy in Inside Out 2. She's like the main girl, the like Carmi's partner.
She's Envy?
She's Envy.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. She's
Man.
Envy.
Okay. Let's just add a side note. In 2024, I watched The Bear, and it is so good.
Oh man, The Bear is so good. Well, anyway, she's also April O'Neil.
Is she really?
She is. Yeah, in the most recent animated adaptation.
That's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yes,
That's so fun. Good for her.
Good. I know.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, Black April.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, very good.
Get some diversity in there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a really good one. It's a really good one.
Wonderful. Okay, so then we go into November, which was kind of a sports month for us.
Ben, it was also the Great Wolf Lodge.
We also went to the Great Wolf Lodge.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah, well,
is that in your lows or?
It may have been on my lows. I don't know that.
I don't want to. I mean, I know I ripped them a new one here on this podcast.
You sure did.
I sure did. But like the kids had a blast.
The kids did have a lot of fun, and it's not like I disliked the experience, but I don't think that I was as enamored with it as other things that we have done in the past. I was also not feeling well while I was there, which I think was probably a piece of it. And I think that Addison was maybe just a tick too small for some of the activities. So
sure.
there were things that I think led it to not being the most extraordinary thing ever. But I was like, yeah, the Great Wolf Lodge. We went there.
We went there. And we left there.
I would say it didn't hold a flame to the Panthers-Chiefs game that you and me and Beth and Alice went to.
Did not hold a flame to that even one bit. Those were on opposite ends of the month.
Yes.
Great Wolf Lodge basically at the beginning and the Chiefs game kind of in the tail end there. But that was super fun.
It was super fun.
I love Charlotte as a city.
I know.
It is great. It is great. The Hokies are playing there in January. And it is like really hard for me not to want to go, other than that we'll have only been back at work for like 3 days or something.
Maybe even less than that.
Even less than that. And I'm like, why is this game on a Friday? It's ridiculous.
It's bad timing.
But I want to go because I like Charlotte and I like the Hokies. And anyway.
Indeed. Beth ran her marathon.
Yes, Beth ran her marathon for the year, which she was training for what felt like forever.
Yeah.
I mean, and she was hitting it hard, waking up every morning, or just getting up early, doing the runs in the cold, going the distance. And it's so funny now. We'll be like laying in bed and she'll be like, it's crazy how much more energy I have when I'm not marathon training. And I'm like, it is not that surprising though.
It's really funny too, because I feel like so often we will make the comment where it's like, people say that exercising makes you more energized, which sounds so counterintuitive, but it's true. But then marathon training is taking it too far.
Yeah.
And you are starting to regain some energy that you then immediately use during that same run, and then you're exhausted.
Then you're just tired.
Yeah.
All the time. Let's see. November, big month. I mean, we also went to the Hokie game. Speaking of the Hokies, just as me and you and Dad and Tyler.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yep. Good year for sports for the four of us.
Good year for sports, although the Hokies lost that game.
They did, unfortunately, against Clemson.
I know. Hate losing to Clemson.
Yeah. And then Wicked came out.
Wicked, dude. Yes. I almost didn't put that on there, and I was like, do I need to put I saw Wicked on my November highlights? And I was like, I do. I need to put it on there.
Yeah. I mean, it was the best movie of the year.
Best movie of the year. Best movie of the decade so far as I'm concerned.
Which is saying something, because when Inside Out 2 came out, I was like, this movie is a gift to humanity.
Yeah.
In terms of like how it's going to open up the dialogue about anxiety.
It's very true. I mean, Inside Out 2 was also quite good, but I didn't put it on my yearly highlights.
I know, yeah. I know. Wicked made the list.
I know, Wicked made the list. So
which is so interesting as well, because I feel like it's making me like, I don't know, like I think having seen Hadestown this year and seeing Wicked, I'm like, maybe I just really want to make going to see more Broadway shows a bigger part of who I am as a person.
My counselor last time I was there was like, you should try out for a play. And I was like,
what?
I know. I was like, I don't know about that. She's like, I think there's like a theater kid in you, and you never explored that. And I was like, I don't know about that.
Dude, Alice told me yesterday
that
she thinks that there's a theater kid hiding inside of me.
This is like if only someone had pointed us in the right direction when we were in high school.
Whoops.
Oh, I know. Now I'm like, I'm gonna sign Luke up for like some sort of kids theater or something.
At least let them try and decide if they don't like it.
I know. I'm like, you know what? At some point, you're going to drama camp, and that's just it.
Yeah, and you'll see.
Too bad.
You'll see.
You'll see for yourself.
You'll love it or you'll hate it.
You'll love it or you'll hate it.
And then from there, we'll go wherever we go.
And then we'll go. But you know what? The same way I'm going to make you try basketball, I'm going to make you try drama. So
yes,
there we go.
I love it.
Exactly.
I love it. That's good. That's good. I know. I like literally the thing that's killing me with Wicked is I really want to go back and see it again, but I just don't know. I don't think Addison will make it 3 hours in a movie theater.
She can fall asleep. That doesn't matter.
That's good point.
Yeah.
If she fell asleep, honestly, that would be perfectly fine.
No problem.
You
know what?
Then I'll just hold her.
We'll go to the Cinnabole in Blacksburg, Ben.
Where the seats roll back.
The seats roll back, and they got seat warmers, man. So you can just bring a blanket, roll the seat back, cover her in the blanket, and be like, see you in 3 hours.
See you in 3 hours.
Yeah.
This is good. Yeah.
This is good.
Why did you come at 1:30 in the afternoon? Nap time.
Nap time, my friend. Nap time.
Nap time.
It's going to be the most epic nap time of her life.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's gonna wake up feeling invigorated.
Invigorated. I know. It really was that good. I don't know if anyone else has been impacted by their viewing of Wicked more than me and you. I don't know.
I understand completely because I think we were in like and I don't even know if it's a minority. I mean, like we were in some column of people who somehow don't know the story at all.
Well, but it's like I think it's harder. It's like. It's weird because like it's been on Broadway for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But like you still have to go to the theater to see it.
I know, which is a challenge. It's a huge upheaval.
Yeah.
And then that means like you either need to be somewhere near enough to New York City to have the opportunity to do it, or even if you're traveling to New York City, it's up against a lot of other amazing shows.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you were to ask me like what you should see, like there's a huge piece of me that'd be like Hadestown.
Right. Yeah. There's a ton of Broadway shows, so you have to choose that one, or it could be part of like the traveling Broadway, but like then it still has to come to where you are.
Yeah.
And you still have to go to it when it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Does it ever come to us?
I don't think Wicked has not come here. No, because we would have gone. For sure. That's one like even since I worked there, like every single year, it was like, are we getting Wicked?
Okay.
And it was always no, because it's just too popular. Popular?
Lar.
I
love it. Okay.
I know, it's so good.
And that brings us to like the month of December.
Well, Ben, hold on.
Oh,
I also
sorry.
planted garlic in November.
Oh,
super fun.
For your stink cloud?
For my stink exactly. And I got the big Pluto board, okay?
Oh, you're right.
It was a good hobby month for me.
It was a good hobby month.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been killing it. I've been proud of you, actually. I feel like you've really taken good care of yourself this year.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So the thing that I think is funny is that I'm like, when I looked at my year, I was like, dude, we did a lot.
We did do a lot.
We had a busy year, and I am proud of that. I'm proud of us. I feel like we did lots of really cool things. But when I got to the month of December, I was like, I've not done anything in December.
Well, I don't know about 0. I mean,
I got a Christmas tree.
Yeah, a Christmas tree. I did that too. I wrote that down. Got big tree.
You got to get a really big tree.
I did get a really big tree, and also I got Beth the piano. That was kind of a big one.
We did do the piano thing.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, I mean, you mostly did it. I was just there to help.
Well, but that was I couldn't have done it without you though. They were still there.
It all came together. That's right. That's good. It's weird. It's weird. I forget things so much. Yeah, it's like the piano. It's like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
Right, 2 weeks ago, and kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like still, I mean, the big happening parts of December are really the end of the month a lot of times.
That is true. Yeah. Which I'm excited for because I feel like I'm super like Addison from last year with Christmas. She was dialed in on Santa. Like she knew that what she would say is Santa comes down the chimney, eats cookies, and then in her mind leaves cookies and presents.
Yeah.
And so when she came down last year, we had this like huge plate of cookies for her and like a little model train set, which she actually turned out to really love, even though I was mildly disappointed with it at the time. But that ended up being a me issue, not a her issue.
Oh, I see.
But so now going into Christmas, the thing she's most excited for is cookies and a train. Like those are the things she wants. But she seems so excited for the holidays. And I think it's just going to be really, really, really fun. Like we're really, both of us are getting to like this total sweet spot when it comes to giving gifts to our kids, where like they make it really enjoyable to do that. And then for New Year's, just today, we purchased tickets to go to like an event at the Hotel Roanoke.
Yeah, like a New Year's ball or something.
Yeah. So hopefully we get to be all fancy and dressed up.
It'll be fun.
Look sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe wear like a fun jacket.
Yeah, maybe.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the end of 2024 and being excited about what will come in 2025.
I know. It's kind of like we know at least there will be another tour in February, and we're going to Disney World in January. So we got, the first 2 months. I feel like it's going to be like Happy New Year's. It's March.
Yes, that's exactly what it's going to be like. Yeah. And I mean, it's going to be really fun because we'll have another fun summer of boating action. I have tickets in 2025 to go to Warped Tour. Which is really fun in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so Beth and I will celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Unbelievable.
Craziness.
Very proud of you guys. Mm-hmm. You're making it.
Yeah, we're doing it. Decade.
A decade.
Take that. I don't know. Anyone? I don't know. Who am I fighting here? Nobody?
Nobody. Take that, people who... I don't even know. I can't even make up a good opposition.
Who would be opposed to this?
Right. Take that, no one.
Yeah. Ha!
In your face. Anyway, we ended up making a long episode here. I kind of had a feeling when we were at like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was inevitable, I suppose. And look at that. This is the second day in a row we've been filming a podcast that ended at 4:50.
How about that?
So we're doing it.
It's what we do. It's what we do. Well, y'all, thank you so much, as always, for tuning into this show. It means the world to us. I think the pop, no matter what, is the show where Jay and I kind of get to give you the most authentic versions of just who we are as people, as dads, as husbands, as brothers, sons. It's like all the various roles that we serve in our life. I feel like it's like what we really get to share with you guys. So I am glad that if you've made it this far in this journey, that you've continued to enjoy everything we talk about.
Yeah.
From the heart. So happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Until next time.
Pop.
Today's episode was edited by Isabel Chrisley. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.